Hey, hey, hey. How's everyone doing? Happy Friday. Friday Night Live. Let's see what we got. Who we got? We got Holly, Wendy, Deborah, Dangerous Deb. Let's see. Roger, very cool. Connie, Trina, Sally, Janet, Lisa, Pam Essman, Steve Marcotte, very cool. Carrie, Travis. All right. Lizzie, Tammy, Crystal. Here we go. Am I missing anyone else? I don't think so. So how's everyone doing? It's Friday night, chilling in the office, relaxing. I've got my cup of coffee. I've got my kid's cup of Gatorade. Oh, Briar's here. Very cool. Let's see. Valerie's here. Okay, cool. I just don't like missing the names if I can. Yeah, so, we're just hanging out. I got my little vape, just vaping. Got a number of topics we can talk about. Fun things. We can discuss things. Kind of in a just chill mood. Christopher Talon. How you doing, sir? I love your profile picture, man. What is that? That's cool. It's the eye, whatever. That's cool. I like the design. Kind of looks like the life piece on the inside. Randy's here. Very nice. Oh, man. Oh, Lonnie's here. Good. Looking forward to the full group video. Yeah, well, let's talk. Let's talk about, hey, Susan. I'm just letting you guys know I have fallen behind on my comments and messages. It's like the first time that I've really gotten about 5 or 6 days behind. I've been doing a lot. Did you receive my message about the FedEx account? I have. I was just saying about the messages. I have not been able to get to any of the messages because I've been in just, mode of taking care of the things I need to take care of while doing the session. So it's my apologies. I normally, like I said, don't fall behind on messages, but I will be. Well, I mean, it's not even just like I'm handling stuff in life. I'm trying to get this group session done. It takes. Anyway, let me finish the thought of the messages and comments. I will be getting to them all over the weekend, all of them. So I promise you that. So there's very short messages, there's very long messages, and I like to give the proper time to each message. So I will do that. And I saw that. It's interesting. It takes Steve. Who's that soul? Oh, that's Danielle. Hey, Danielle. Are you on? Is that right? That's you, I think. You saw Steve. It said that it took him like 8 hours straight to do the group session, and I told him, and plus he recorded such a long session. I saw some of it. It's really awesome. Like, he got some great stuff, intuitive stuff he got, which he's gotten a lot of, which is awesome. And some of the replies I heard were really awesome. And I couldn't watch the whole thing. It was like an hour and 40-minute long 8 gig video that he uploaded, and it's awesome. But it takes him like 8 hours that he locks himself in and he does the whole thing. And him and I are very similar. We get a lot of the same things. We work a lot of the same way. Our approach. There's a lot of differences, of course, and one of the differences is definitely how we review, how quickly we review. He's gotten really good at editing videos, getting it down to a science. He adds all the little plugins and all the cool things. One day I'll make the jump to a better editing software program, and I'll probably add a couple more bells and whistles. but I'm still in my just keeping it simple for me. He's done so well. He's just, I mean, and of course, he's just. I think he's using. Is he using Adobe? I think he's using. What do you call it? Final Cut. I thought maybe, or maybe not. Maybe he's using Adobe. But that's what you're probably just suggesting, Roger. Hey, Roger. By the way, I don't think I saw you. I don't know if I saw you in there. So anyway, 8 hours, and so it takes me about the same amount of time that it takes him. The problem is that I can't sit for 8 hours and do that for a number of different reasons. One, I have 2 small children, and I have other things I still have to be able to balance while I only really mainly focus on, the channel, you guys more before anything, and what we're doing, the sessions, and almost everything else takes, a second seat to what I do, whether it's the bar, whether it's, maple rhubarb. I always do this. I almost want to say, who is that again? Christina. Hey, how you doing? I always forget. You're going to say it. I'm going to go, who is that? Maple rhubarb. Just tell me, because it's going to drive me crazy. Tell me who you are. It's Heather. Okay, cool. Very good. But so anyway, 8 hours, and it's going to take me that long, but I got to do it like 2 hours every day, maybe more. I do a little bit more because I have to go through it with the headphones. Hey, Bruce, then I have to, and that can, and just like, Ed Primo talked about, the forensic audio expert that I was briefly working with. You get kind of like your ears start to get tired, and you start to hear things differently. That's just for me. I don't know. Steve is maybe better at that. So I got to take these breaks, and then I got to go back through it again without headphones, just the audio speakers from the computer. And so there's different things you can hear, and it's really an amazing process reviewing a session. It's a process that takes me now. I used to try to get it done in 3 days. I tell people, whether it's a private session, a group session, even if it's my own sessions, it takes me at least 7 days to go through a session. And that's me sitting down 2 to 3 hours a day, if that, about that, a little over 2, under 3. And going through it twice. So, it's a crazy process, but that's how it is for me. So the group session's coming. I've got about another 20 minutes left, and then I'm going to do a second pass briefly through it, and we'll talk about it. So the clip I posted. Hey, Nige. Good to see you, sir. Roger, on that clip you posted, I heard a lot through your phone. Yeah, the new app, is it working better than the others? No, I don't think so. I don't know. No, I don't think so. First of all, the clip is within the first part of the session. Steve, personally, I don't think it is right now. I don't know. It worked very well in that testing of the app session that I posted, the video that's my last upload. But I don't know. I don't think it's I don't know. I don't think it's that. I think it's good. I just don't think it's going to replace the SCD2. Plus, the SCD2 is kind of been spotty the last couple of days. The clip, Briar just says, clip is very interesting, and because I found it only with Briar's phone, Briar's connection, and a couple others. There was only 1 or 2 others that had that feedback coming through. And so, no, they were not running apps themselves or any Spirit Box. As Briar said, she was just standing in the rain, ambient noise from rain. She's also I think you're in Ireland, aren't you? In Ireland? I think you are. You might be in Scotland. I feel terrible. I don't know where you are. I forgot where you are exactly. My apologies, Briar. But, she's overseas. So I don't know. You're in Australia. Why did I think you were somewhere else? I'm sorry. I get my continents messed up in countries there. Um, but yeah, it was an echo on Discord, just like Crystal's saying. It's a random happening with the echo in Discord. It is, and they were using it very well. At some point, you can hear my voice, the echo of my voice, and they're using the echo of my voice. We know that spirits can use any sound. I remember Steve and we were in Key West, and we were standing in front of the theater that we investigated. It was at nighttime, and we were recording just on our phones and cameras, and we were just kind of doing an impromptu before the next day we were going to do our full investigation of this theater. And a car passed, and the car passing had some music playing in it, and it was just like, and when reviewing the video, they used just that car passing with the little radio coming out of the car, and they said something. It's weird. This is a very personal thing I'm going to tell you guys. I don't care. I've shared so many things with you guys, so it's all good. And you have to wonder. Hold on, you guys got a lot of comments. Hold on for a second. And I'll get to your comments here. But what's interesting is when I was severely addicted to drugs almost 20 years ago, pretty much. And I remember being in the bathroom and like kind of hiding out in the bathroom. I think I was like high on cocaine, and there was some sleep. I don't think I didn't get much sleep the night before. I was in the bathroom and I had the water running, and I can hear voices only when the water was on. I would turn the water off and the voices would stop. Now, you're going to get some hallucinations when you're on drugs and alcohol. I cannot tell you that this is exactly what it is. But now that I know what I know now, and those voices were saying things like, when is he going to stop? Oh, I hate seeing this. Like, it was very weird. And I'm like, oh, I'm just hallucinating. But now in hindsight, I go back to think about it, and, there's probably spirits using, and I was tapping into something in that moment in a very weird space. It was very weird. Water does give our spirit friends energy. Breyer is correct. That clip is very powerful, and so you hear responses coming through the phone. You know when it's coming through the phone because it sounds like a voice coming through the phone with that kind of phone voice. Then you hear the responses coming through the box. And I asked for Damon O'Reilly, which was Breyer's deceased loved one, and they said, Damon forgot, or so that's what I hear. And what's crazy about it is that after that, there's not too much more. Now, there are responses. People do get responses. They do get responses asking through Discord, but they're not that great. They're not that great. We were having issues with the afterlight being kind of too chattery, with too much. They were having a hard time, I think, using it. I think the Discord thing was way chaotic. I think it was too much. I think I was trying to operate. I had a list and a pen in my hand. I had the list. I looked like it was too much. I couldn't do what I normally like to do, which is get quiet and get peaceful and just kind of try to go into my space and run down the list. But so I was in like organized, trying to run the mode. You'll see the video. I'm like, I got a pen in my mouth and like with a list, I'm like trying to. But it was a good thing to try. I think it was a good thing to try. Hopefully you guys don't get upset for the fact that there isn't as many responses. I think the people on the list that didn't call out the names, which I haven't even fully got to that point yet, I think they get a couple more responses than I think the people on Discord. But again, what we tried on the Discord situation was pretty much what I do with private box sessions. Mind you, when a private box session happens, it's a one-on-one situation. We are focused for 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how long. But yeah, it doesn't hurt to try, but it is on your dime still. And I care about trying to get everyone's, responses and things like that. A lot of people did come through, a lot of really interesting responses. Let me go up here for a second. There was some question. I heard communication coming through on the edit. 1 to 5 kilohertz for me has been the sweet spot for picking up spirits. That's interesting, Raj. I had a similar. Okay, so it's real time. Oh, I think you're saying spirits used something in real time with you. Josh, right at the beginning of the group on Discord, I heard someone say, "Hurry before the train leaves." It's funny because I asked my dad to say something about his love of trains. Well, do you hear that in the clip? Is that in the clip? Because I hear that in the session, but I thought that was later on in the session. So I don't know, because I heard that about the train, hurry before the train leaves. I definitely heard that. I don't know if I tagged it because I didn't think it was relevant. So it's going to be in the session. I'm not taking it out. I'll go try to go re-tag it for you, but I didn't tag it because I didn't feel like it was that pertinent. But now that you're saying that, I absolutely remember that response because I've heard the discussion of trains before on the other side, like a train coming in between dimensions kind of thing. There's the ladder, there's trains. My voice got reused, mistyping. Okay, sorry, no big deal. Okay, Susan, they've used my horses. What is it, whinnies before? Whinies, whinnies, when it like that, right? Very cool. That's pretty cool. Had that professionally edited. Oh yeah, edited. I want to see that. I'd like to see that. Let me see. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, Josh. Oh yeah, I hear you, friend of Bill's. But maybe you were. Let's see. Opium dipped Thai stick did that to Randy. Well, you're right in the right region for that, buddy. How come spirits have shapes and clothing styles? Spirits have shapes and clothing styles. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of human things that they still do in a way. I think it's very strange, but there is an aspect to that. We try to push off many things for years until we realize, yes, Sally. Like we have heard Michael looks studious. Oh, okay. You might be commenting on something else. All right, hold on. I just hate when I'm missing stuff. We want to help research and help any way we can. Thank you, Pam. We don't know what is possible if we don't try, right? Did I miss Lizzie's response? Because I think I said something to Lizzie and I missed it. When they say biscuit after me asking, well, my dad has started hoarding biscuits. He has more than the shop. He could be losing his marbles. Okay. And then, yeah, I hear the biscuit. Lisa had a pretty strong response come through from her mom. She says, Mom, Karen Oliver. I can't do a British accent. When she does her little British accent there, and then the mom goes, "What, my baby?" And then there's this English guy again, because you don't hear any English accent at all the whole time, and then you hear, oh, she's quite lovely, or she's kind of lovely, and I'm like, God, they are so polite, even in the afterlife. She would say that. Would she say that, Lisa? That's pretty cool. I think it's cool when they use our voice and completely change the words. Oh my God, that's so cool, Susan. We've seen Steve do it with the recorder through the portal, and they've done it with us, when we were not doing it on purpose. We weren't trying to. My dad was brought up on the train lines, and it's his love. That's why. Okay, well, there's a train comment in there. There's no question. I'll confirm that right now, Lizzie. When I go back through it a second time, I'll tag it. But I was upset though, because after I posted that clip and I kept going, there wasn't a lot that was coming in. There was these swaths of nothing. And I would try to change from the SCD2 to the Afterlight. And, so I think the Discord thing was a little bit difficult for them. We're going to try something different next time. It's going to lead into what I'm going to bring up here. I got a couple different things to talk about, but I posted those pictures. Those two pictures I posted. Excuse me. I just burped. The pictures I took. Hold on, Nigel's saying something. So funny when you Yanks try to do a London Cockney accent. Yeah, it's funny that you say that, Nige, because I sent Lisa a message telling her about the response, and I said, and some English bloke with a Cockney accent says, something, whatever. Yeah, I'm not. I need to practice my English accent. I've been watching Game of Thrones for like a month, like every show. So I should be able to talk like Jon Snow. But Kit Harington, I love Kit Harington. I'm gonna buy his cologne. I'm gonna get his face wash. I'm gonna smell like this woodsy cognac British smelling guy. I'm going to be like Madonna. Remember, like Madonna she spent so much time in England that she started talking with an English accent. People were like, what are you doing? You know nothing, Josh. What? I'm not a Cockney, so who knows who that is. I'm not saying you were Cockney. I don't know what that's an accent. It's a part of I think that's mostly associated with Londoners or city, like people in the city or something. That's what really I think that means. And so I didn't call you Cockney. That's the guy that speaks afterwards. You know nothing, Jon Snow. I don't want the throne. What does he say? You're my queen. I can't do it. Anyway, I'm done trying to talk in an English accent, okay? So that's done. Oh, the Australian is the only thing you can say is like good day, mate, or some stupid. I love when I want to hear what people do when they make fun of Americans. It's like got to be like argy bargy. Like they got to just say, I don't know. I want to hear it. I want to hear foreign people make fun of Americans. You're my queen. I don't want it. That's the only two lines he had. All right, we're getting off base here. That's cool. You mean Aegon Targaryen? Yes, that's correct. I'll post something funny about the season 8 Game of Thrones. It was hilarious. It's on YouTube. I was dying because it's so funny, and they sum up the whole 8 seasons. I'm gonna find the link. I'm gonna post it for you guys on Patreon for anyone that gives a crap. You're still on season 5. Get your butt caught up, Lisa. I waited for the full 8 years to be done. I wouldn't watch one show until last month, and then I watched like 3 shows a night. And so I had like up until like the last show that aired, I didn't have to wait like a day. It was so nice. It was so cool. It was like one long movie. It was great. The ending was fine. I mean, there's problems with the show, but whatever. Anyway, I'm going to just turn this into the Game of Thrones chat. I'm throwing out my paranormal notes. We're just going to talk Game of Thrones. I can't even read all your comments. What is it? I have not seen the rest of it. Oh, well, you better get caught up. I know they're filming the prequel. I can't wait to see it. I'm going to watch all the prequels. I'm hooked with this stupid crap. It's stupid. I'm going to do intuitive Cockney lesson classes. Yes, teach us Cockney. So, like, hello, governor. Right? Isn't that like the Cockney? Peter Dinklage. Yeah, the imp. Hello, governor. Yeah, I know. You know what? I'm done. I want to keep talking like you, though. That's why, Nige. All right. So those pictures that I took during the children's session, I took those I posted the Testing the Afterlight app session. I added the commentary. That's the latest upload on YouTube. And then I did a session for the children. I called on the children. I asked for David. And it was really a good session, but I don't know if I was able to fully help the children. We will see. I'm trying to do some follow-up, just questions on my own with the recorder to see if I can get some confirmation. I'm trusting that I did. But during that session, I had the light on. I had the baby monitor that I was using, experimenting with it. Pretty much it's what I'm doing with this cheap baby monitor. And it's the cheap stuff that works. The cheap recorder, DR60, the cheap baby monitor, the PSB7 is a very cheap spirit box. It's just a little radio. And things like that, they really do work. More visual noise, more audio noise, internal noises, gives the spirits more to play with. And so those faces, I'm very big on pareidolia, not, see, I mean, that's why even with this, it was like, when I got this, I was very, like, it really had to be very clear for me. I felt like it was. And the more I looked at it, the more clear it was. But, those two pictures that I posted, the one with the man in the fedora and then this younger looking female. And what's crazy? I was telling Steve about it when I showed him to get his opinion, and he said, yeah, there's clearly faces there. And he says, are there more? What was that on? And I said, every time I would pause or go to the next frame to frame to frame, it was almost like a new face every frame. So it was like they were just using that visual noise within the monitor to form their faces. They are doing it. It's pretty interesting. So I'm going to have to test with this, test with it some more. The picture that Crystal's talking about, she says, Steve, I have a screenshot of Alma and Frank that's so clear, I think. Now, this is where her and I, we differ in opinions. She showed me those pictures, and I don't see what she is seeing. She's shown her kids, and they see it. So they see it. Some other people she's shown has seen it. I do not see it. But she described a man having a hat. She described, that was it was like a fedora. She said it was a top hat, but she didn't know it was a fedora. But so she was saying it's like a fedora. And then afterwards, I capture this picture with a man with a fedora. So it's, again, a situation where a little bit of intuitive mixed with her vision. She might be seeing something I'm not, until I got these pictures where I think it's very clear. I would be interested if she showed those pictures, show those snapshots on Patreon on the community page, Crystal, and get people's opinion. I think that'd be really cool to do. Deborah has a comment here. Josh, you mentioned mayhem regarding the children. Where do you think the poor babies came from? I don't know. I don't know where they came from. I definitely got the meditation. When you meditate, when you do TM, transcendental meditation, you'll check it out on Discord. Do we have is there another Discord that we have? Yeah, share your artwork too. Show them without the artwork though, Crystal, because then let them see if they can see it. Circle it. You can circle the area, but try to not show them with your awesome drawing in there, because then that kind of just plants it in their head. See if they can find it. But no, I was kidding. Oh, okay. I don't know what the heck I was saying. The pictures, I was saying something and I lost my train of thought a little bit. Anyway, the pictures, I want to do more with the pictures. I want to try to do more. I'm going to try to incorporate it in the next group session somehow. I'm not going to do the Discord thing again. I will have the list. I think I'm going to do a little bit of, I'm going to do a section, like the first section, first part of the session, I'm going to do something where I'm going to not have the list. I'm not going to read the list. I'm going to go for psychic, intuitive stuff like I do throughout the session, but I'm going to focus just kind of on an intuitive aspect at first while I'm trying to capture pictures. So I'm going to try to capture pictures while I'm doing some intuitive stuff. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be taking the pictures or if I'm just going to have a section set up with the camera facing like the screen, and I don't know. We're going to see what happens, but I'd like to do that. The babies, that's what you were asking me about. When I was doing my second meditation, thank you. I got all off track on that one. I was getting, in my first meditation, you can, you're kind of just dumping your thoughts in a sense. The second meditation is meant to be downloading, getting downloads. It doesn't always happen, but that's kind of what it's like. And so in one of my second meditations of the day, I got visions. I got a vision of a child being put inside of a washing machine. It was tough to watch, and it played out. And then I got a vision of my screen, my site is blinking. I got a vision of a child in a bed in a mask. I think it might have been a clown mask. And I, didn't know what that was. It was bothering me until kind of I got like a silent nod, like, no, just let that happen. It's okay. It's not, it's because of these children. And I got this like quote kind of, what was it that I had? I have an idea that I'm going to do. You guys can try it, whoever does this, but I'm going to do it because it came to me in that meditation as well. To get a spirit board, I'm going to get a dry erase board, and I'm going to put it right here, and it's going to have who's been coming through lately, when I'm going to do a session. I'm going to write the day and when I'm going to do a session. If I plan on doing a session for myself, I'm going to write down the day. And I'm going to do these, I'm going to like put stuff on there so that like the spirits can kind of see that. I know they can feel my thoughts or when I communicate with them, but that's going to help them be a little bit more, we're going to be more simpatico, I think, as far as when I plan to do stuff. I'm going to try to set these things so that it can really be on point. But anyway, I get this, I know I'm jumping around, I apologize, but I get this child, and I got this very, child in a washer. I had to grab my pen and paper. Child in a washer, drowned, eventually drowned, but didn't a few times. So it was almost like they were put in a few times, and it was very horrific, very horrific, very horrific. The child would go in there when they're bad, brought out. I think there was sexual abuse, of course, murdered, and it was a kidnapping. Then I got another child that was in a dark set in bed, maybe a mask of some kind again. And I said, are these the children? And I got yes. And then I said, this bothers me. This bothers me a lot, of course, because I don't know. See, now Susan's getting stuff about children. That's weird. So I asked, I'm like, this shouldn't be children. We've talked about this before. We've talked about this, about how we think children should be going right to heaven and there shouldn't be. Now, I was talking to my therapist the other day, and I said, I was telling her about these stuff because we talk about some spiritual stuff like this a lot. And I said, when do you think that the ego would get involved with a child where it would kind of mess with their pure nature? And, she said, well, how old do you think? And I said something like 11 or 12, pretty much. She goes, try 7, which means if what she's saying is true, that the ego starts to become more predominant in a child, even at 7, that means that it's the ego that keeps us stuck in this life and in the next. So that means that the ego can, in a sense, affect a child in crossing over. So if there's a lot of fear in the child, if there's a lot of anger in the child, if there's, they could still kind of forget their true nature. And they, in essence, could get stuck. I know that doesn't sound right to me. It doesn't sound probably right to you, but that is a very distinct possibility. Now, when I asked about the spirits getting help, they said so on spirits getting help, all of this will happen eventually. They will all eventually move on and get the help and move on eventually. But because of free will, and of course ego, but free will that pertains to ego, a person's spirit can take longer to realize, that they're stuck, or that they need to move on. Hence, holding up the process. The point of someone still in corporeal form, me, you, with knowledge of Christ and compassion, can always help counsel and guide home quicker. And that was the quote that I got in meditation. And it kind of sums up exactly what I'm doing, what any of us are doing. So what they're saying, what was being said there is that, even if we did nothing, no ITC, no paranormal, no praying for spirits, they're eventually going to get the help that they need. But we, being very powerful in our bodies and not even knowing it really, a lot of us, just really don't know the full potential of the Rolls Royce that we're in. But we have the ability to kind of bridge, God and spirit in a sense, just because, we think they're on the other side, they're closer to God. And that is not the case. A spirit can be further from God than a person, just because of the fact that we have God in us and we all can connect. Even a spirit can connect. All the whistleblowers that came out and what's been disclosed about the elite and satanic rituals, harsh conversation, but relevant maybe. Yeah, let's not get into that. But you're right. There's a lot of evil, disgusting things. Yes. I'm screwed. I have 2 rooms from my ego. Yeah. It's harder to move on than we think. I'm not an expert. I got that today in meditation. Yep. If fear can get people stuck. Yeah. Hold on. That's jumping around. What happened? Yeah, I thought you would. Okay. Thank you, Steve. I replied to your message today. Okay, you guys are. But how long is eventually? Well, time is not. It's not the same as it is on the other side. So, what could feel like 20 years to us could be 10 minutes over there. I've had spirits say to me soon, but it ended up being 10 years down the track. Time is different. That's funny because should have finished reading your comment, right, Lizzie? It's important to spread this in our physical world as well as the spirit world, and it's important to practice self-love as well. Oh yes, absolutely. There's a balance between doing all that. It just hit me, John. Josh sounded like Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins. Yes. That horrible accent that he had in Mary Poppins, right? Well, I think, Crystal, we are aware of the same things. Yes, you guys are. I think that is where the role of guardians and guides come into play. Time isn't real, right? I agree with you. I think so. I shared some truths that. Yeah, that's the thing. So anyway, they're going to get the help that they need, but we have the ability to help them a little sooner. If they're willing to listen. There is an interaction that we can have, and we know it. And my work, Steve's work, a lot of our work has proved it. You know how long it took my hubby, 2007 till now. Yeah. There's a message about Benny in there. I don't remember what it was exactly in the group session. There's something about him. Crystal, I want to see you're cool. I think there was more. I don't know. I don't want to speak like that. I should wait until I'm done. Yeah, there's something, Deb, definitely. Yeah. Pictures, I said that. Okay. children's session, that's coming soon. I don't know exactly when, but it is, it's coming soon. I will be posting that soon. The group session, I think I should have done hopefully by tomorrow. That would be a full 7 days. So it should be tomorrow that I should have the group session done. Okay. Let's see pictures of people. Yeah, I did that. All right. So I'll tell you this other cool experience that just happened. This is interesting. And this will be the last thing that I have pretty much to talk about. And then we can just chat about whatever else you guys want. Hold on. So you guys will probably find this interesting. This is pretty cool. Ava came home from school the other day. All right, so wait, hold on. Ava was at my mom's, and they hang out every Wednesday. They do gymnastics. My mom takes her to gymnastics, and they go see my dad. And it's a Nana day. And my mom will pray. She used to pray over me all the time. I gotta turn my sign off. It's kind of driving me crazy. I gotta change the batteries in it again. So my mom will pray. She used to pray over me, and it's a really cool thing. And she's a very spiritual person. She still kind of has these weird things with what I do, and so it's, I let her find things when she finds them. But she was praying with Ava, and Ava she mentioned her guardian angel or something. And my mom and her, they asked for the guardian angel name, and she got Jane. And Jane happens to be the name of my mom's mom. So my mom was like, "Oh, your guardian angel is my mom. It's your great-grandmother, And so Ava called me with my mom, and I was in the middle of doing something, but I stopped, and and she's like, "Oh, I want to tell you, my guardian angel is Nana's mom. It's your grandmother." And I said, "Oh, that's awesome. I believe it. I just, there could be other things going on too, but yes, I believe that. It's what I believe." And so I thought that was really cool. And then the next day, or like a couple of days later, Ava comes home from school, and she says, she goes, "I was at school today, and I got this thought of Jane." Now, she's never met my grandmother. I've never even met my grandmother. She died when my mom was like 13. And so she's like, "I got this thought of Jane." And I thought Grandma Jane or something like that. And then she felt something on her wrist. And she said what she felt on her wrist, this touching on her wrist, it felt really kind. And she felt this really wonderful feeling. This is Ava telling me this. So I was like, wow. I was like, I'm listening very intently. And Ava misses my mom's dog, Misha, that died. And so she only remembers her from when she was like 2 or 3 years old, but she still kind of holds on to that. I think the dog signifies a part of death for her, because she knew someone or something that was alive and then died. And so she's like, "I miss Misha. I miss the dog, And I said, "Okay." I said, "I'm sure she's around my mom's house." So in the same moment of feeling her angel, her guardian angel, which is Jane now, she said she saw this dog. She saw the dog, or she felt a dog or something. And before she knew it, she goes, "It was weird. I started looking at the dog, and I looked down, and she's like, I'm holding a leash." And I'm listening to her tell me the story, and I'm like, "What?" Like, she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "It was weird." She's like, I'm like, "Why would I be holding this leash?" And she's like, "This is so strange." She's like, "So anyway, when mom picked me up, when my mom picked her up from school that day, she told my mom, and my mom started getting up, happy tears. She was all happy, "Oh, it's so beautiful." And so she was telling me, and the baby started crying, and Ava went to go help her mom, help Nikki with the baby. And she was like, well, she's like, I'm coming back to tell you this. I got to tell you the rest of this. Or she had something more she wanted to explain to me. And I said, okay. I had to get up and go to my meeting a few minutes later. And so she didn't get a chance to finish telling me. For some reason, I decided to bring my DR60 with me to my meeting. And afterwards, I decided to pull into this parking lot, a vacant parking lot, and I sat in my car for just a few minutes. And I turned on the recorder. I said, is there anything that my approved guides or spirits would like to say that they don't get to say, or I'm not understanding at home? Is there anything that they would like to say to me now? And so I record 2 messages very quickly, briefly. I record it on my phone, and then I go home. I put Ava to bed around 8:30, 8 o'clock, and I said, now tell me the rest of the story. And she did. She told me it wasn't much more, but she was just, excited. And I said, this is really good. I said, those things that you felt, the touch on the wrist, the feeling of good. I said, notice those feelings. I said, you have you have an amazing ability. I said, that's how it comes in for me. I'm sure it's how it comes in for mommy, but I said, I can only speak for me. I said, that's how it comes in for me. Just brief little things. And I said, so notice it and embrace it. I said, but the other thing about it though, Ava, is that I said, you'll be able to do this and feel things. But the most important aspect of this is that you start talking, you just start talking to Jesus. Talk to Jesus, talk to God, Jesus. I said, and just talk to him and tell him how you feel and what's going on, about what you just felt, and use him as, your guide to help you through it. And she was listening, and then we said our prayers, and then she went to bed. And so the next day I listened to those recordings, and what I hear is, so the first, it's very faint. The first one was faint. The second one was a little bit clearer, but in the more faint one, the first thing goes, listen to Ava. And I'm like, oh, listen to Ava. Okay. So I tag it. The next thing it says, I love Ava. And I said, oh, wow. Okay. I love Ava. I put the caption. Then it says, I'm blessing Emmy. I said, oh, she's whoever this is. And then I get to, and it says something Lucy. And then I go back and listen, Grandma Lucy. Grandma Lucy was my mother's grandmother, which is Jane's mother. If you remember in that reading that I had done by that psychic and I played for you guys, she said, you have this older, broken English lady. She just loves you. She's with you in the car. She'll pull your seatbelt when she's hugging you. She doesn't like your driving. That's Grandma Lucy. So Grandma Lucy is confirming this. And then I go to the second message and she's like, listen to Ava. She's not wrong. So I'm like tagging all of this. I'm really excited. So Ava comes home from school later that day. And I call her into my office. I let her sit on my lap and I said, here, let's play this. And she can read now, she's 7. So, and I'm playing it and she hears the, on the DR60 and she sees, listen, Ava. And she's like, who is that? What was that? Play that again. I play it again. I can hear my name. I can hear my name. Who's saying that? And then it goes, I love Ava. Oh, she loves me. Who is that? They love me, And Emmy, I hear Emmy's name. I hear Emmy's name, And I said, she's telling me to listen to you. I couldn't finish listening your story. She says to listen to you and that you're right. I said, I said, you're right. So what you were feeling was correct. They're confirming it for you. And Ava was just like she just knew it, she just, my hair's standing up too, she's like, she just knew it, So she's finished listening to it. And we went into the kitchen and I was explaining, I said, my teacher teaches me. And this is what I said, I bet you can be better than me and mommy put together. I said, I bet you'd be great at this. I said, if you start now at 7, you don't ever have to think it's fake or whatever and blah, blah, blah. You can always work at it and you can really, become a very, strong, person in communication. And she goes, Daddy, she goes, when you were playing that for me, she goes, I got a touch on my hand. I was like, man, they're not missing these opportunities to develop her. They're not missing the opportunities, the loved ones to, and hence she got the thought at school and she got a little touch on the wrist. Yep. And that can be the hand now. They even Deb will say, if I say a yes or no and ask for a feeling on one of your hands, and you can start associating. And I teach that, I'll be teaching that in the intuitive class, that you can actually, get associate, say like when it's right, you can have your right hand be touched. If it's wrong, have your left hand touched. You can do things like that, give them tools to use for that. And so, Grandma Lucy or whoever touched her hand during watching this, and I can just imagine how happy the grandmother, my grandmother, or my great grandmother, actually, that would be, or my grandmother would have been, or listening to her words kind of roughly being interpreted enough for Ava to hear it in real term, and it becomes real to Ava now. It becomes real to me. We called my mom and we told her, and she was, pretty blown away. So I'm going to probably post those clips for you guys at some point. I mean, I'm going to try to boost the sound, because I feel like me with just my headphones, like really listening, is how I heard it. Ava heard it in real time. You can probably hear it better. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty amazing story. I wanted to share that with you guys. Anything to do, I think the best show that was ever on out there was the Psychic Kids with Chip Coffey, because you can't fake that stuff, and it's so good from the mouths of babes. I think it was so powerful. So, Pam, you said your son watches. Yeah, that's awesome. It's you as parents, Josh. I have goosebumps now. It's really cool. Hey, Kathy Smith, I didn't see you there. Yeah, I mean, I've had visions of thinking of taking Ava out when she's a little bit older, and her and I are working together, doing some stuff and some videos, maybe. I hope so. If not, then it's okay. But I think she's developing, very well. Yeah, Susan, wasn't that a great show? It was so good. They're all grown up now, those kids. Some of them do that stuff, some of them don't. Yeah, we have to see it from the spirit's perspective too. It's just as important for them to communicate. Oh, it is. Nigel, you are so right. They're still in a human, they have human aspects to them, in the sense that, what do we know that's human? What if some of these things that we are it's very spiritual? It's not just all human aspects. So there's some of that stuff that goes along. I don't think they're just balls of light that just are just like bumping into each other. I think there's connection. You'll hear in this group session them say, he's just arriving on the first light. He's coming on the light now. He's coming out of the light. He's arriving from out of the light. So it's like the portal of light opened from heaven, and they're like, shoo. I remember one time Nikki and I were in the garage, and we were doing one of our sessions, and I asked for a spirit to show up, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like, it sounded like something flew into the garage and bounced off the garage door from the inside. It was like someone threw a rock against the inside of the garage door. It was so weird. And I was like, what the heck was that? And Nikki channeled, she's like, oh, some spirit came in and he was coming in hot. He couldn't stop. I don't know. I don't know if that was real or what, but I thought that was one of the funniest things. And I still don't ever forget that. Like, they were coming in, like they couldn't hit the brakes. They were like smashing off the, they had to bounce off a couple things to stop. There's a lot of interaction that they have with the physical world. So, I mean, it's pretty crazy. It really is. And I don't know. There's a lot of just exciting things. It's cool. I'm moving along on my book. That's coming. I've got this project that I'm trying to develop more before I open my mouth and start talking about it, because I want it to become more of a reality before I talk about it. It's a great idea, and if it comes to fruition, it'll be really awesome. Thank you guys. You guys are always like the best, so supportive. I just love sharing it all with you guys. It's just great. He asked about angels and get a message about to land. Yeah, for sure, Lizzie. I would. Yeah, I don't remember that, but that sounds about right. Because you'll hear it in the group session. They're talking about he just arrived from the light. He's coming. I think it sucks because I feel like thank you, Chris. I wish I could give each of you, or when we're asking for each patron, more time. But it would literally take me 3 hours to do a session. It sucks. That's why I say you can come in afterwards, after I ask for your name. You don't have to just say your loved one's name or say your name. Just the acknowledgement. I see with some of Steve's messages, they're like a little bit longer, and I think that's so cool because I love to be able to get more detailed messages. But with how many patrons I'm trying to ask for, and I'm trying to get as many responses, if we're going to look for longer responses and more responses from one spirit, then I think it needs to be a private session. But if we're looking for just a, hey, I'm here, I love you, it's me, Bob, or whoever, and it's a 2, 3, 4 phrase sentence for each patron, each person, then I think that's great. I think that's great. But it's the formless presence that scares me. I can't shake it for days. The formless presence. What do you mean? Like just knowing something's present that doesn't have a form? Is that what you're talking about, Roger? Yeah. What's that? Tammy says, is that what you mean? It's okay, Josh, just to have Benny acknowledged with one word. Yeah, I think it was someone talking about Benny, saying something about Benny. And I think it was about something about still wanting help or something. I don't know. The thing about getting help and crossing over, I don't think the crossover is just like into the light, done crossover. There's multiple levels of heaven or of that, higher dimension. I don't want to say heaven, hell, blah, 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 blah. And they say the heavens, so I should speak like them, like, they do. They refer to it the heavens, because the heavens is plural. It's not in heaven. There's the heavens I've heard many times. So that would imply there's multiple levels to this place, the heavens. It's like so one can cross over, and then shortly after, soon they could need to cross over again to another level. And that's why I think that people really have gotten it into their heads based on religion, based on what each religion says heaven and hell is and all this other stuff. But I think it's so multidimensional, multifaceted. There's a lot of levels to it. Sounds like existence is about evolution and becoming more like God. Well, that's what it is. I mean, that's the quote that I posted the other day. I mean, the whole purpose of life is God realization, realizing that we are God. The ego is what prevents us from understanding that we are God. You are God. I am God. We are all God. Like, we are all made in his image. That's not just some kind of saying. We can all do the things that Jesus spoke about on the Mount. We can all do them. We just don't realize. People say, I think I'm psychic. I think I have an ability. We all have an ability. We all have the ability. We just don't want to use it. I am a walking example of that. Ego is stopping us. Yes, that is correct, Chris. Yes. Ego is trying to protect us. It thinks it's our image. It's Lisa and Nigel being British. Me being American. I'm Italian. I'm from up north. I was picked on, and then I went to prison, and like, it's our stories. That's the ego. Okay. When we can get off of that ego and let go of it, that's when we are, I mean, he talks about it in this book. I mean, there's so many books I'm reading, but all of these different, this guy, he explains in this little book, the Sermon on the Mount. It's really wonderful because I would urge you guys all to read this very thin little book. Like I've showed it to you before. Try to find it. It's in little places. It's a very thin little read, but it's very good, and it has nothing to do with it. We are God's image. Wait, did I miss something? Do the work, right? Yeah, the work needs to be done here in this life. Someone posted a comment on my YouTube today about suicide, and they said, if I commit suicide, can I still go to the light? And, a patron saw it and messaged me. I'm grateful that she did. And I left a comment. And I said, unfortunately, I said, I think you can eventually go to the light. I said, of course, I believe that because, we've seen that happen. But I said, you're not going to escape what you're trying to escape here. You're not going to escape it over there. You have to deal with it one way or the other. And so I would say, deal with it here, work on it here. This is the place to work on it. This is the place to work on, any of those types of fears, neurosis, obsessions, whatever it is, hang-ups, resentments, anger. The most powerful thing that we can do, like the quickest thing to God realization, is the hardest thing to do in life. It's one of the hardest things to do. Two things. Forgive others. Love the difficult ones, not love the easy ones. Like, love the easy ones to love. It's love the difficult ones. Forgive our enemies and forgive ourselves. If we are able to do that, we will see God we will see God quicker. We will realize God quicker. We will realize we are God quicker. See you, Sally. I love you. Thank you. I'll be messaging you back, all of you, soon from your messages. I saw Sally sent me a few. I'm excited. How cool was that? That happened. Tammy, did you see that? Hey, Trina, did you just come in or no? You've been in here, right? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you just came in. I don't know. If you did, hi. And if you've been here the whole time, I'm sorry. You did just come? Okay. I'm not going that crazy yet. You have been here. Okay. Then I did say hi to you. I don't know why. I just thought that you just popped in. My apologies. I'll end with this, guys. It was pretty cool. I don't know if you got to see it, but is two things that were very cool that happened. I was giving Tammy a reading, and I was connecting to her color, her third eye color. That was pretty cool. I do that. And I got this vision of this little blonde girl on a beach with a striped bathing suit with shorts on, or it was like a shirt. I thought maybe it was a shirt tucked into like a little spaghetti shirt tucked into a shorts with a striped rainbow. And it was like a faded 80s picture. And she goes, holy cow. She's like, that's the picture that's on my refrigerator right now. And it was with my grandfather. And then I immediately saw this man. So I felt like it was him coming through and showing me this picture. And when she posted the picture, it was like almost exactly of what I saw and described. And that was that was really cool. That happens in sessions or in readings, a lot, things like that. But when it's a really so specific item like that, it was really awesome. And then I was giving Sally a reading a couple days later, and I said, I said, I'm seeing this kind of like mediocre painting. It's an acrylic. It's textured. I said, I see a frame. It's an outdoor scene with some water. And I said, it was purchased at a thrift store and it's got some dust on it. And she's like, oh my God, it's so weird. She's like, when I'm kind of laid up and I'm, not feeling well, or in the winter, she's like, I have this chair and I just sit and like I watch the TV, but I stare at this picture that I bought at a thrift store in a frame with some dust on it, and it's an outdoor scene and it's acrylic. And she's like, what's weird is that it has no significant meaning to me other than the fact that I just stare at it sometimes when I'm not feeling well. And what it was, one, it was a way for Spirit to give a validation for her to know that I was tapping in. I also got her color the same as I got Tammy's, as I've done many times. Excuse me. But it was the fact that she puts so much energy into it by looking at it. She stares at this picture. And it was like, I was getting that. And Deborah, my teacher, will teach me that. She'll say, you'll get stuff. And it's extremely psychic. And yet at the same time, it may not have any real significant meaning, but Spirit's using it in a way. So I think that was pretty cool. So they both posted the pictures and I think it was great. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, Tammy, it was really great. It was cool. Anyway, so we talked, we filled the hour, we went a little bit over. Is there anything you guys want to ask me before we wrap it up? I'm going to be getting off here, taking a few minutes of a break and then getting back to the group session so I can try to finish it tonight to post it for you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the day, whether it's the day or at nighttime. I'm gonna, like I said, work on it tonight. If it starts to get too late, then I know that, I start to hear things differently, and I go back and listen during the day and I'm like, how did I even hear that? Last night, it doesn't even sound anything like what I tagged it as. So, tagging and reviewing during the day is different than tagging and reviewing at night, or tagging when you're purely awake as opposed to at night. And yeah, Roger, paint. If you feel the urge to paint, you should paint, because that's what this universe is doing, is expressing itself artistically. Everything is artistic. It's got it, and that's what it's doing. My feed just went wonky. Love you all. Have an awesome holiday weekend. Yes. Looking forward to seeing the full review. Appreciate everything you do. You got it. All right, guys. I love you all. We went a good over an hour. Let's see. Hold on. What is she saying? Benny showed himself on my phone. Was that him, or was I being tricked? No, I wouldn't feel like you're being tricked. If you feel it was him, ask. And if you feel it was him, it was him. Yeah. All right, guys. I love you all. Messages this week. I'll be getting back to everyone. And that's it. All right.